What's up, NRCC family? Christian Studer here. So we're going to be continuing to talk about generosity today. So there's something that a lot of us say to ourselves when it comes to generosity, and that's, once I have more money, then I can be generous. I just don't have enough money to be generous. So I want to tell you that statement's untrue. Generosity is not measured by the amount that you give, but it's measured by the sacrifice. So there's this verse in Mark chapter 12 that brings us into perspective a little bit more. It says, Jesus sat down opposite of the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on. She was more generous than anyone else." Because generosity is not how much you give, but how much you sacrifice. There is no greater display of love than sacrifice. Just look at your life and see what are you willing to sacrifice for. Maybe you're married and you've sacrificed being able to hang out with your friends whenever you wanted to because you wanted to spend more time with your spouse. Or maybe you love watching your favorite sports team, so you could sacrifice time at work so you can watch the big game. You sacrifice for what you love. And that's the greatest display of love. John chapter 15 says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for their friends." There is no greater love than this, to sacrifice for someone else. How generous you are is not determined by the amount you give, but by the amount you sacrifice. So if we were to examine our lives and see what we sacrifice for, what would that be? And would you be proud of that? I hope this message has encouraged you today to be more generous, to take a step in generosity and show love to more and more people by being generous. Because generosity is not based on the amount you give, but on the amount you sacrifice. So let's share the love of Jesus by sacrificing for people around us, by sacrificing to show them love. Thank you for watching this week's video. See you next week.